the last stat. Here we go. How does doubling the radius of a cylinder affect the volume? So I'm going to start with volume. So I start with pi r squared h. And it says to double the radius, 2 pi 2r squared h. Remember that the 2r is being squared. Keep it in parentheses. This gives me pi times 4r squared h. So what I do is I pull out the 4 out in front. We're just multiplying. So when I look at this part is my original volume formula. So what happened when I doubled it? It gave me 4 times. So it would be multiply by 4. If you wanted, you could create your own 2 cylinders to do the same thing as well. For example, it might be 5 and 2, and then you double the radius, so that would give you 10 for the radius, doubles, and this still stays at 2. And you could find those volumes on your own and compare them. The surface area of a cylinder is 200 centimeters squared. The diameter is equal to the height. Find the radius. Oh, we have diameter here. I'm going to set this as 2r equals h. And I'm going to use this in my formula. So I know that I'm dealing with surface area. So I always start by writing my equation. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r h. I'm going to plug in the information that I know. 2 pi r squared plus 2 pi r times 2r. Now here's why I did this. Whenever we're solving equations, we must be dealing in the same variable. So if I look here, I have a variable of r and a variable of r and a variable of h. Well, this one's r squared, r, and h. It doesn't matter if it's squared or not squared, but it must be the same variable. So I changed this h to terms of r. Now, I could have solved and done r in terms of h, but then that would give me a fraction, and we all know, let's leave the fractions alone. This makes it for easier. So this gives me 200 equals 2 pi r squared plus 4 pi r squared, because I have an r here and an r here. So this gives me 200. I have 2 pi r squared and 4 pi r squared. So together I have 6 pi r squared. I need to get the r squared by itself. So I'm going to divide out by 6 pi and divide out by 6 pi. When you do this in your calculator, you need to put this 6 pi in parentheses so that your calculator knows to do that first before you divide. Otherwise, it will just do it in the order it sees it, and that will get you the wrong answer. Make sure to put this in your calculator and make sure you know how to enter it correctly. So, I told you could round to the thousandths, but that really only means the final answer. So when I divide this, I need to write out all of those numbers that I see on my calculator. And then I can take the square root of both of them. So r equals, and this is where you can round to the thousandth. So my radius is 3.257 centimeters. And the final one for today, the volume of a cylinder is 360 pi millimeters. That should be cubed. And the height is 10 millimeters. Find the circumference of the base round to the nearest thousandth. So I am talking about volume, so I just start with the equation. Volume equals the base. And remember, it's a big B because that's the area of the entire base. So I'm going to plug things in. 360 pi is equal to pi r squared times h. So I'm going to go ahead and do one more step. I don't know r squared, sorry. Bring down my pi. I still don't know r, but I know my height is 10. I'm going to get r squared by itself, so I'm going to divide by 10 pi and 10 pi. This leaves me 36 equals r squared, so therefore r equals 6. Now realistically, we probably shouldn't have even rounded, so circumference is 2 pi r, which is 2 pi times 6, which is 12 pi, and unfortunately, if you're going to go ahead and use the decimal, 37.699 millimeters. All right, guys, see you tomorrow.